Isabella had always been known for her hair, a cascade of dark copper curls that framed her soft face and caught every bit of sunlight like fire. The strands seemed alive when she moved, shifting from auburn to bronze to gold in the morning light that streamed through their small apartment's windows. She loved her hair, but not half as much as her boyfriend Noah did. Every few months, Noah would spread out his tools in their small bathroom: gloves, bowls, a comb, bottles of dye, and a thick black cape that draped over Isabella's shoulders like a protective cloak. It had become their ritual, his hands moving carefully through her curls as he brushed on new color, her laughter echoing against the tiles. It was a small, private world of trust. On this particular morning, sunlight spilled over the bathroom counter as Isabella sat on the stool. Noah wrapped the cape around her, fastening it gently at her neck. She smiled up at him through the mirror, catching his reflection as he slipped on the gloves. "Ready?" he asked softly. "Always," she replied. The smell of dye filled the air, sharp but familiar. Noah worked in slow, methodical movements, separating strands, painting color into the curls, his concentration deep but gentle. Isabella loved how serious he looked when he did it, like an artist retouching his favorite painting. But something in her heart felt different this time. The warmth of the morning, the rhythm of his hands, all of it felt like an ending to something. A pause before change. After he rinsed the color and her hair shone with renewed life, Isabella stared at herself in the mirror. The curls were perfect, rich, and glowing. Yet she tilted her head slightly and whispered, almost to herself, "I don't know what I want to do with my hair anymore." Noah glanced up. "What do you mean?" She smiled faintly, fingers running through the ends. "I've had it long for so long. I love it, but sometimes I wonder what it would feel like to just start over, to feel something new." He leaned against the sink, studying her reflection beside his. "You want to change it?" She nodded. "Maybe. But I don't know what. You always take care of it anyway. Maybe you should decide this time." Noah's eyes widened slightly. "You'd let me choose?" She turned her head, a playful spark in her expression. "I trust you." Those three words landed softly between them, charged with meaning. The next morning, they woke early. A pale light stretched across the ceiling as Isabella tied her curls into a loose knot. She wore a cream sweater and jeans, simple but graceful. Noah smiled when she turned to him. "Are you sure about this?" he asked. "Yes," she said, smiling nervously. "Let's go." The walk to the salon was quiet. Leaves rustled across the pavement, brushing against their shoes. The sound of distant chatter mixed with the hum of the city. Isabella's hand found his. Small, warm, and slightly trembling. He squeezed it gently. The salon was bright, with large mirrors and the faint scent of shampoo and citrus. A cheerful stylist greeted them and asked what they wanted. Isabella glanced at Noah. "I told him he can decide," she said. The stylist laughed softly. "Brave woman." Isabella smiled. "Maybe a little crazy, too." She was led to a chair near the window. Noah stood behind her as the stylist draped a purple PVC cape around her shoulders. The material was glossy and smooth, reflecting the light from the window. Isabella felt it close snugly at her neck, a comforting weight that made her feel enclosed, as though the rest of the world had gone quiet. When her hair was released from its clip, it tumbled down in a fiery wave. The stylist ran fingers through it, whistling softly. Such beautiful hair. Noah met Isabella's eyes in the mirror. "It really is." Then came the wash. Warm water streaming over her scalp, fingers massaging softly through the curls, washing away the faint traces of yesterday's dye. Isabella closed her eyes, feeling the water trickle along her temples. The smell of shampoo, the hum of dryers, the rhythm of soft conversation. It all melted together in a calm blur. When she sat back down, her damp curls glistened. The stylist handed Noah the clippers. "Are you sure?" she asked him, eyebrow raised. Noah looked to Isabella. Isabella smiled nervously, her voice gentle. Whatever you think is right. The clippers hummed to life with a steady, low vibration. The sound filled the space, intimate and electric. Isabella's heartbeat quickened. She met her own eyes in the mirror, trying to read what she was feeling. Fear? Anticipation? Both. Noah stepped closer. His reflection stood over her, his hand steady. You ready? He asked quietly. Do it, she whispered. He guided the clippers to her temple, letting the blades hover for a heartbeat. Then he moved them gently against the grain, and the first lock fell. A thick curl tumbled down the cape, sliding across the glossy surface and landing softly in her lap. The sensation sent a shiver through her. The hum of the clippers vibrated faintly through her scalp. Strange, new, almost electric. Noah's eyes softened as he worked, his touch deliberate and caring. Each pass of the clippers revealed more of her head, pale skin glinting under the lights, soft and even. Isabella watched silently, her breath shallow. She could feel the air moving differently now, cool against her freshly buzzed skin. The curls gathered on the cape, glowing like fallen leaves. Noah paused, brushing a few stray strands from her forehead. You're doing amazing, he murmured. Her voice was barely a whisper. It feels lighter. He smiled, continuing with slow, even strokes. The buzzing sound became rhythmic, a lullaby of transformation. Isabella closed her eyes, breathing through it, feeling each gentle vibration as more of her old self fell away. The stylist watched quietly, moved by the tenderness between them. She'd seen many transformations in her chair, but this one felt sacred, a ritual of trust between two people who understood each other deeply. When Noah finally switched off the clippers, the silence that followed felt profound. Isabella reached up tentatively, touching the soft stubble that covered her head. It was warm, like velvet. She smiled. It's amazing, she whispered. Noah crouched beside her, eyes full of quiet awe. You're beautiful. The stylist returned with a towel and a bottle of soft pink dye. Isabella's breath caught when she saw it. The color was light and whimsical, like rose petals. Pink? She said, smiling. Noah nodded. I think it suits you. Something bright, something brave. The dye went on easily, the brush gliding over the buzzed surface of her head. The cool sensation of the dye made her shiver, but she laughed softly. The stylist smiled as Noah worked beside her, both careful and affectionate. When the color set and the rinse was done, Isabella looked at herself in the mirror again. The transformation was breathtaking. A faint blush of pink shimmered across her scalp, glowing under the salon lights. She lifted her hand to touch it, smiling wider than she had in months. I love it, she said, tears bright in her eyes. Noah's reflection leaned close. You really do? I really do. The stylist removed the cape, shaking out the remaining curls that had clung to it. Isabella stood, running her hands over her buzzed pink head, laughing softly in disbelief. I feel like a different person, she said. You just feel more like yourself, Noah replied. She turned and kissed him softly, her smile radiant. Thank you. They walked home under a sky streaked with clouds and sun. The wind brushed lightly over her scalp, and Isabella couldn't stop touching it. The sensation was strange, intimate, freeing. Every gust of air felt like a whisper of renewal. At home, Noah brewed coffee while she stood by the window. The reflection in the glass still startled her sometimes. The pink shimmer, the smoothness, the boldness of it all. Yet the more she looked, the more she loved what she saw. When he brought her a cup, she turned and smiled. I think this was the best thing you've ever done for me. Noah laughed softly. I only did what you told me to. No, she said, her voice tender. You did what I couldn't do for myself. He reached out, running a hand over her freshly buzzed head. The texture was soft under his fingers. She closed her eyes, leaning into his touch. I feel like the world just opened up, she whispered, like I could be anyone now. You already are, he said. You're you. The pink faded slowly into a softer rose, and Isabella began experimenting, sometimes with bright scarves, sometimes with bold earrings, sometimes with nothing at all. She no longer hid behind her curls. She met the world with her whole face open and unguarded. Strangers smiled at her on the street. Friends gasped and then hugged her tight. Her confidence radiated in ways she hadn't known before. Not loud or flashy, but calm, grounded. And every so often, when Noah was in the bathroom arranging his brushes and gloves, she'd step in behind him and smile. Your turn to sit, she'd say. He'd laugh. You planning to dye my hair now? Maybe, she'd tease. Or maybe I just like watching you look nervous for once. They'd both laugh, but behind the laughter was something deeper. The quiet understanding that what they shared was more than a haircut, more than a moment. It was trust made visible. One quiet evening months later, Isabella sat at her vanity. The room glowed softly with lamplight. She brushed her fingers across her pink buzzcut, now a little longer, and smiled at the woman in the mirror. For the first time, she felt that her reflection truly matched how she felt inside. Brave, open, loved. Noah appeared behind her, wrapping his arms around her shoulders. Still like it? He murmured. She leaned back against him. I think I'll always like it. He smiled, resting his chin atop her head. You know, I think you could pull off any look. Even bald. She laughed. Maybe next time. Their laughter mingled with the quiet hum of the evening, settling into the kind of peace that only two people who have shared change can know. And as Isabella looked into the mirror once more, at the reflection of her and Noah together, she realized that this, more than any color or cut, was what she'd been searching for all along. A love that saw her completely, through every shade and every change.